Good evening, and welcome to our 2021 Volunteer Awards ceremony. We are so grateful and glad that you can join us this evening to celebrate the long service and outstanding contributions that many of our volunteers have achieved this year in 2021. 2021, as I'm sure many of you are aware, hasn't been the most straightforward year due to COVID, and it has impacted on our volunteers' ability to support us in the way that they would want to. However, this has not stopped most of you, and it means that you have had to do things differently. And we appreciate that even with all the restrictions and difficulties that you may have faced, you have managed to make a massive and outstanding contribution to what we do at St. Catherine's. Your colleagues, both volunteer and staff, and the patients and family members really do appreciate all that you have done to support what we do at St. Catherine's in such difficult circumstances. Regardless of COVID or anything else, we want to celebrate you, your contribution, and the achievements you have made for St. Catherine's. So, I hope you are sitting comfortably. I hope you have something very nice to drink, and I hope you enjoy the evening and seeing many of your colleagues who've come together who were really excited and feel privileged to be able to celebrate with you these outstanding contributions. So I'll hand over to Giles, and I hope you enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Hello volunteers, it's so nice to be able to speak to you today, but it's such a shame to be having to do this again virtually. You know, the last 2 years have been emotionally challenging, they've been practically difficult, and they've created huge dislocation for us all. And perhaps the most damning part about all that's happened is our separation and dislocation from all of you. You know, volunteers really matter to St. Catherine's and our story. You know, in the past 2 years, I know all of you have shown great flexibility, huge forbearance. You've stood with us, you've been adaptable, you've done work from home, you've considered things when we've asked them with great faith and great commitment. And, you know, we've won awards thanks to the work of volunteers here at the hospice. But I need you to all understand that our forward story as we emerge from the Omicron, the emergency, and as we look into the spring and the summer, must be to bring you back. It must be to engage you again. It must be so for our successful end to our time here at Malthouse Road over these last 18 months. And it must also be about your help to enable us to transition successfully to our new home at Pease Pottage. Without volunteers to enable us to make a success of that, to make the place feel vibrant, busy, fun, and all the things that we need to do to support patients to have the best of it at the end of life, we need you. And I want you to be in no doubt about that as a volunteer. And as Chief Exec, I want to say to you that we are considering new roles, expanding the way we use you, and trying to invite you back in a way that fires your imagination, fires your support, to enable our story to continue to be the very successful one that we've built over these last nearly 40 years. So welcome back. It's upon us now, and thank you from the bottom of my heart on behalf of every single paid colleague in the organisation for the way you've continued to support us. Thank you. I'm now going to hand over to Terry, my chair, and another top bloke. Thank you, guys.
Hi, I'm Terry O'Leary, and I've been Chair of Trustees for St Catherine's these past 6 years or so. And like you, I'm a volunteer. It's so nice to hold a celebration. None of us here, I hope, are foolish enough to think that the COVID-19 pandemic is all over. And as we work with clinical colleagues, we're constantly reminded that it's not. But now we can enjoy some relaxation of the restrictions we dealt with in 2020 and 2021, even though not enough for us to get together in person, but I do hope that next year we can do just that. And of course there are parts of the world not far away from us suffering from a very different kind of restriction and threat to life and health, and I'm sure we're all thinking of them. Yet we do have great reason to celebrate, and in particular to thank all our volunteers for your commitment and support, and through the pandemic especially, your patience and flexibility. Our volunteers give us an amazing wealth of skills and experience in a range of jobs in the hospice, in our shops and in the community. Without you, we would not be able to do what we do for our patients, for their families and friends, and for the people of West Sussex and East Surrey. So whether you're receiving an award this evening or not, you are all remarkable. Thank you. Now, let's move on to the awards.
Thank you, Terry, and thank you, Giles. That was some brilliant words there. Now we move into the first part of our award ceremony, and this is celebrating the Long Service Awards for our amazing volunteers. Here we will be celebrating increments of 5 years, so any volunteers who've reached their milestones in 2021 of 5, 10, 15 or more years will be celebrated here. Hope you enjoy, and thank you to everyone for your outstanding contributions.
Good evening, my name is Jo Foster. I'm the HR and Volunteer Advisor here at St Catherine's Hospice, and it gives me great pleasure this evening to announce our 5-year Long Service Awards. Well, the year was 2016. What was going on? Tim Peake became the first official British astronaut to walk in space. Our Queen Elizabeth celebrated her 90th birthday. Team GB finished second in the medal table at the Summer Olympics with 27 golds, 23 silvers and 17 bronze medals, their best ever in over a century. The top selling album in the UK was 25 by Adele, and these amazing people started to volunteer with us at St Catherine's Hospice. Scott Shannon, volunteer assistant, Reigate Shop. Veronica Brennan, volunteer shop assistant, Crawley Shop. Peter Thornton, volunteer driver, patient services. Rachel Stewart, volunteer hospice host and evening greeter. Alison Livesley, volunteer trustee. Catherine Blackburn, volunteer trustee. Kathy Driscoll, volunteer hospitality assistant. Leslie Cox, volunteer hospitality assistant. Jennifer Lammas, volunteer shop assistant at Oxted. Chris Terrington, volunteer driver for patient services. Kate Mullen, volunteer patient escort. Terry O'Leary, our volunteer chair of trustees. Narendra Mora, volunteer shop assistant, Horsham Shop. Jill Hames, volunteer admin support, our volunteering team. Christine Rendell, volunteer admin support, fundraising and lottery. Lynn Redmond, volunteer hospitality assistant. Sarah Whiting, volunteer hospitality assistant. Jenny Duggan, volunteer shop assistant in Crawley. Laura Light, volunteer hospice host. Jane Major, volunteer support visitor. Anthea Johnson, kitchen assistant volunteer. Judith Gander, volunteer shop assistant Crawley. Rita Risland, volunteer shop assistant in Caterham. Caroline Simmons, volunteer therapies assistant. Patricia Bentley, volunteer shop assistant at Oxted. Roswitha Shanahan, volunteer counsellor. Laura Sykes, events volunteer support. Monica Bartholomew, volunteer community fundraiser. Jane Wilton, volunteer community fundraiser. Jackie Shuttleworth, volunteer events support.
Hello, I'm Jane Bates, Learning Education and Development Manager at St Catherine's Hospice. I'm delighted to be presenting the 10-year Long Service Awards. The year is 2011. Prince William, Duke of Cambridge and Kate Middleton were married. The England cricket team won the Ashes series 3-1 in Australia. The final Harry Potter film was released in UK cinemas. McFly's Harry Judd won Strictly Come Dancing. And these wonderful people started volunteering at St Catherine's. Pamela Williams, volunteer Living Well Centre host. Rosemary Carter, volunteer community fundraiser. Jean Goddard, volunteer coffee shop assistant. Christine Allen, volunteer shop assistant Reigate shop. Bridget Mason, volunteer hospitality assistant. Lynn Cottingham, volunteer hospitality assistant. Jean Rogers, volunteer shop assistant Hawley shop. David Kilgallen, volunteer kitchen assistant. Samuel Mason, volunteer gardener. Jane West, volunteer coffee shop assistant. Margaret Cutler, a volunteer coffee shop assistant. Jason Turner, volunteer kitchen assistant. Caroline Smith, volunteer shop assistant Hassocks shop. Janet Saunders, volunteer shop assistant Horsham shop. Leslie Smith, volunteer shop assistant Caterham shop. Suzanne Bennett, volunteer shop assistant Reigate shop. Veronica Hardy, volunteer shop assistant East Grinstead shop. Sue Mackenzie, volunteer community fundraiser. Jane Parry, volunteer community fundraiser. Julie Pescott, volunteer community fundraiser. Sheila Vo, volunteer community fundraiser. Congratulations on 10 years volunteering with St Catherine's. We really appreciate everything you do. Thank you very much.
Linda Lowe, 12 years voluntary contribution. Please accept our apologies for not counting you in our 2019 awards ceremony.
We're going to be now looking at the people who've been volunteering with us for 15 years. 15 years ago was 2006, and there were a few major events that happened in 2006. Firstly, Twitter was born. Daniel Craig first performed as James Bond in Casino Royale. The BBC announced that they were disbanding their sports programme Grandstand that had been running for over 50 years. And Leona Lewis won the X Factor. And these incredible people started volunteering for St Catherine's Hospice. Susan Hayward, who's a volunteer shop assistant at East Grinstead. Leslie Tring, a volunteer hospitality assistant. Janet Martin, volunteer shop assistant at Red Hill. Mumtaz Mohammed, who volunteers in the Living Well Centre as a host. David Metz, volunteer shop assistant at East Grinstead. Elliot Arnold, a volunteer shop assistant at Crawley. Claire Wright, who's a volunteer community fundraiser. Deborah Bailey, volunteer community fundraiser.
is 1996. Buzz Lightyear was the best-selling toy of the year. The average house price in England was £53,300. Take that, announced they were splitting up. Spanish dance song and party favourite, the Macarena, was released. And these amazing people started volunteering with St Catherine's Hospice. Cynthia Corner, volunteer admin support. Marion Offray, volunteer shop assistant. Christine McInloe, volunteer community fundraiser. Barbara Varley, volunteer community fundraiser. And Sheila Spencer, volunteer community fundraiser.
It's my absolute pleasure to tell you the names of the 2 people receiving long service awards for volunteering at St Catherine's Hospice. So, the year was 1986. That was the year that Phantom of the Opera was first performed in London. It was the year when Margaret Thatcher officially opened the M25. And 1986 was the year when there were great sales of leather jackets and Ray-Bans, following the launch of the film Top Gun. So with that in mind, 1986 was the year that 2 generous volunteers began to give up their time to help at St Catherine's Hospice. I'm very proud to give you those names, the 2 people who have served St Catherine's for 35 years as volunteers are Mandy Stewart, community fundraiser, Christine Sumter, also community fundraiser. Thank you both so much for dedicating your time so generously and your skills to supporting St Catherine's Hospice.
It's so lovely to hear so many familiar names, and what a fantastic achievement. Congratulations to everyone. We'll be sending you certificates in the post very soon. And so now we move on to the next part of our evening celebrations, our Special Contribution Awards. These awards recognise exceptional effort and significant contribution from our volunteers. Most importantly, they enable us to say a massive thank you for the positive impact you've had in 2021. This year we have 5 categories: Young Volunteer of the Year, Fundraising Volunteer of the Year, Innovation and Thinking Differently Award, Outstanding Contribution and Outstanding Team. We were delighted to receive 30 nominations, and these were judged and individually scored by an independent judging panel. Thank you for everyone who took part in this process. So let's find out who this year's winners are.
Thank you, Sarah, and good evening, everyone. I'm Rosie, part of the Wellbeing team, and it's my absolute privilege to have been asked to present this evening's award for Young Volunteer of the Year. This category allows us to recognise and celebrate the achievements of our volunteers who are aged 25 and under. This group of young people bring a commitment, dedication and enthusiasm to the work that we do here at St Catherine's. So it gives me great pleasure to present this year's award to a very special group of young people who give their time to our charity shops in the community across Surrey and Sussex. The winners of this year's Young Volunteer of the Year award go to the Duke of Edinburgh Shop Assistant Volunteers. We are so proud of our Duke of Edinburgh volunteers. They contribute so much to St Catherine's. They stay with us for between 3 to 6 months. They're reliable, conscientious, and bring a creative dynamic to our volunteering community. The winners were nominated by Sam Williamson, shop manager at our Reigate shop, and here's what she had to say. Over the years, we've had some amazing Duke of Edinburgh volunteers, and it's impossible to name just one. I found so many really tried to get the most out of their volunteering, and on many occasions they continue to volunteer long after they've completed their award. A huge thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you from Sam and all of us here at St Catherine's. Congratulations on winning this award. You really deserve it.
Thank you, Rosie. Good evening, everyone. My name is Michaela and I work in the Income Generation Marketing team. It is my absolute privilege to present the award for Fundraising Volunteer of the Year 2021. This category allows us to celebrate the significant effort and commitment of our fundraising volunteers and recognise their fantastic contribution to St Catherine's. It gives me great pleasure to present this year's award to St Catherine's Hospice Goal Society. Felicity Parsons nominated the Goal Society, and I wanted to highlight some of her reasons for their nomination. The Society is run by Duncan Honecker and Dave Owen and has been running for over 21 years. In 2021, they raised over £29,000 despite challenges and setbacks along the way. They showed real courage in the face of lockdowns and restrictions, which of course hampered the format of their events, and they were always having to make last-minute decisions. They found new ways to adapt and became experts in virtual auctions. They never lost their enthusiasm, and it could have been so easy to give up, but they kept up their positivity and they remained optimistic. It really showed the importance of carrying on in the face of adversity, and they worked really hard with their networks, always keeping them informed of the impact that COVID had on the hospice and the struggles that we were facing. They had to make the difficult decision to cancel their anniversary dinner, but used it as an opportunity to bring their supporters together and encourage more support for St Catherine's. They worked really closely with the local artists to secure a painting for the new hospice and received pledges for over £2,500. Even with an event down, the Goal Society, with Dave and Duncan's fantastic leadership, raised more than ever before in a single year, which is a real testament to their fundraising prowess. Duncan and Dave are wonderful supporters and true ambassadors of our work. A huge thank you to the Goal Society from Felicity and all of us at St Catherine's. A very well-deserved congratulations on winning this award.
Thank you, Michaela. Hello, I'm Wendy. I work in the volunteering team, and as a new member of this team, it's lovely to hear about the support and contribution of so many of our volunteers. I really look forward to meeting many of you over the coming months. Tonight, I'm delighted to be asked to present the award for innovation and thinking differently. This award enables us to recognise and celebrate the adaptability, flexibility, creativity and skills of our volunteers. For 2021, it gives me great honour to present this award to Angie Chalice. Angie is an admin volunteer in our Learning, Education and Development team. Angie was nominated for this award by Megan Peters. I'm now going to read what Megan had to say about Angie's contribution. Now that the Learning, Education and Development team are working collaboratively with other Sussex hospices on the delivery of statutory and mandatory e-learning, we've had to think a bit differently about how we record and present our training data. Angie has been pivotal in supporting us with this project, and week on week she offers ideas on how we can better manage our data. Angie manages and updates all of our training spreadsheets. These spreadsheets detail the training compliance for everyone across the organisation. Angie's attention to detail is outstanding. This means that our data is incredibly accurate, which in turn means it's easier for me to analyse and summarise it at the end of each month. The involvement of the other Sussex hospices has meant that some of the statutory and mandatory training requirements have changed, meaning our spreadsheets have also needed changing and updating. Angie has taken on this task with creativity and enthusiasm. Even when a certain formula or formatting doesn't quite work, Angie will take the time to research and problem solve until it is exactly how we would like it to be. Angie and I are now working together to improve our month-end processes so that it's quicker and easier for me to summarise our data more visibly before sharing it with managers. Angie's contribution to the Learning, Education and Development team is invaluable, and we certainly couldn't do what we do without her. A heartfelt thank you to Angie from Megan, the Learning, Education and Development team, and all of us at St Catherine's. Congratulations, Angie, on winning this award. You truly deserve it.
Thank you, Wendy. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ilias and I'm the Finance Coordinator at St Catherine's. It is my privilege to present the Award of Outstanding Contribution from a volunteer. This category allows us to recognize and celebrate the incredible contribution of volunteers who go above and beyond to support St Catherine's. It is my great pleasure to present this year's award to Colin Murray, Volunteer Fundraising Driver, Maris Codling, Volunteers Driver's Buddy, Jackie Herdman, Volunteer Fundraising Driver and Driver's Buddy. Colin, Maris and Jackie were nominated by the Fundraising Acquisition Team, Gemma, Susan, Kat, Francesca and Izzy, and this is what they told us. Colin, Maris and Jackie help the fundraising team every week by collecting, replacing and delivering collection tins in local shops, workplaces and businesses across our patch. Despite the occasional obstacle, they are ever helpful and we rely on them for their expert knowledge and enthusiasm. At Christmas, they stepped up to help the fundraising team put on the hospice's first ever reindeer run by travelling to local shops to deliver antlers to pupils taking part. During the busy run-up to Christmas, among staff absences, COVID-19 and other activity being cancelled or postponed, they were courageous in stepping forward to help the team at a difficult time when so many things were in flux. They helped us to connect with the community in an energetic way by wearing the antlers during the delivery and bringing the Christmas cheer to children across our patch. Colin, Maris and Jackie are dedicated, hardworking and friendly. Nothing is too much of a hassle and we are so grateful to have their support. A heartfelt thank you to Colin, Maris and Jackie from the acquisition team and all of us at St Catherine's. Congratulations on winning this award.
Thanks, Ilias. Hi everyone, good evening. I'm Ellie. I'm the People and Site Services Director at St Catherine's Hospice, for those of you that don't know me. And wow, what an exciting evening. I have the absolute honour and privilege of presenting the Volunteer Award to the Outstanding Volunteer Team. Not individuals, but a team. And for a team to receive it, it's made up of some fantastic, amazing individuals. This category allows us to celebrate a team that has made an exceptional contribution together to support the work that we do here at the hospice. It gives me absolute pleasure to announce that this year's award goes to the Wellbeing Service Volunteers, and well done everyone. There's loads of you, so I'm going to read out your names, so bear with me. This award goes to Josephine, Suzanne, Isa, Dennis, Elizabeth, Ian, Johnny, Kate, Kay, Monica, Natalia, Roswitha, Sue, Tina, Hannah, Deborah, Dorinda, Jane and Leslie. And we have counsellors, we have volunteer support assistants, bereavement support, pastoral support and volunteer support visitors. you amazing team were nominated by Liz Carter, our Wellbeing and Community Development Lead. And what Liz told us was that we've got some fantastic counsellors, some fantastic volunteers in our bereavement support group, facilitator counsellors, support visitors, pastoral care assistants, all supporting us as an organisation to deliver a service to people when they absolutely need it most. All of these volunteers have supported patients, their friends, their families, their loved ones, and the bereaved through counselling and support sessions over the last year. And wow, what a difficult year it's been. Their support volunteering for St Catherine's has been invaluable. Some have gone over and above their roles, beyond the one-to-one volunteer counselling role by taking on other volunteering roles, like helping facilitate a STEPS bereavement group, which is a walking group, and the feedback's just been fantastic. Helping facilitate new roles in the wellbeing team, running support bereavement groups out in the community team, through 2 bereavement support group facilitators have approached us with the idea of trialling a group. And as yet, we've been able to offer another way of supporting the bereaved in the community. And that's just fantastic. Thank you so much. One member of the team described it as, when we ask if they'd like to try something new or they need to change the way they support us, they respond with not only the generosity of their time, their expertise, but with bucket loads of enthusiasm. So thank you. Emotional support, counselling, pastoral support isn't always visible, and it's often not always understood, even by other teams and colleagues within the hospice. So sometimes it goes unnoticed or unrecognised, but please don't underestimate the value that this has. We want everyone to know how proud we are of each and every one of our volunteers, who they are and what they bring to their patients and loved ones, and how they really truly do make a difference. This is a massive thank you and well done from Liz and all of us at St Catherine's. Congratulations to each and every one of you on winning this award. It's absolutely well deserved. Well done, everyone.
On behalf of everybody at St Catherine's, I just want to say a huge thank you to our amazing volunteers. What another crazy year, but you've been with us alongside us all the way, ensuring we're safe, allowing our visitors to come into the hospice, and also not forgetting those amazing gardening volunteers we've got to keep our gardeners looking great for our visitors. Thank you, you're amazing.
Hey, you wonderful volunteers, thank you very much for your service you give us. You know me, I'm with you all the way. Thank you.
Thank you to the volunteers.
Hi, I'm Nikki and I'm from the fundraising team. I just wanted to say a really big heartfelt thank you to all of our wonderful volunteers at St Catherine's Hospice. Without you, we couldn't provide the care to all the families and patients that need us. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for everything you do.
Thanks very much for everything you do for us. Very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you so much for everything you do for us. We couldn't do our job without you.
I'd just like to say a very special thank you to our kitchen assistant volunteers and also our screeners for all that you've done over the last year. You've been so supportive to our department. We could not have done it without you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, volunteers.
Just want to say a huge thank you for everything you do. Thanks very much.
Thank you, volunteers, for everything you do.
Thank you to our e-commerce volunteers who help in areas as extensive as books and packaging, ceramics and stamps. Thanks, guys.
Well, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed today. Thank you so much for dialing in to listen to everybody. It's absolutely amazing what you do for us. We need you back. Thank you. Thank you for the contribution you make. It really matters. You matter. Cheerio.